Yes, exactly. This is a pilot episode. Welcome to what shall we call this podcast? I have no idea.
The Czar, what's
maybe
it called?
maybe that's
Podcast.
something we should have thought of before starting a podcast.
No, I mean,
Maybe
it's something we can think of now, to prove it.
it's better if it's in the moment. Yeah.
Could be something we think of now. I mean, we don't have anything to do.
I think it's going very well.
It's already going swimmingly, clearly.
Mhm.
Anyway, we'll find a name as we go on. We don't have to have a name. So it's the first podcast.
The first podcast from the nameless podcast. Hosted by Bonnie.
We have no experience, so it'll be fine if we fuck up. Plus anyway, podcasts are the kind of open season. Like you can really say whatever you want. You can really do whatever you want. Well, given the bounds that you set yourself, but we're not actually that restricted. So anyway,
Well, so if we're being technical about it, it's pretty much going to be only say because it's audio wise, not visual. So
okay,
there's an aspect of doing. It's the same.
okay.
We can all go calm if we wanted to.
Fine. For the sake of recording, that wise ass was George, our human dictionary.
It's a pleasure.
Quite the intro. I am your host, Jacoby. Fiscus.
The cringe. Hello, I am a co-host of Fiscus.
You just
Otherwise known as the man from Kent.
you just
Oh wow!
I like that awkward silence that I had to call you out. God damn it, man.
I like being the dramatic type.
Clearly. And then we have our trusty mod, Paul Le Capitan. Paul speak.
Who's probably FK.
As usual.
Yeah.
Oh, he's here. Okay.
Right.
Right. So I guess we can begin properly now after that very lengthy intro.
The awkward silence begins as topics that we are supposed to confirm and have cease to exist.
See, that's the beauty of the thing. We don't have a topic, but that in and of itself can become a topic. See, the fact that we don't have a topic can become a topic. We can talk about how
impromptu this podcast was.
Well, yes.
I got my message like a couple hours ago.
Okay, yeah. To be fair, I kind of jumped on you, and I called this whole thing really impromptu. I just
No explanation.
Yeah. I just texted Joel. I just texted Joel. I'm like, yo, we're having a podcast at 9. You had better be there, And we're like, yeah, okay, sure. And well, I guess George was already in on it. The rest of you guys are kind of just put it in chat and added everyone. So
okay,
this
if we
podcast is
want,
sponsored
I
by
don't like a
NordVPN.
point. Sorry. I keep on interrupting.
No, it's fine. I was just making a dumb joke.
It's fine. You can proceed. I might have been
The
stepping
moment
on the
the
nose.
moment has passed. Do you not understand comedy? Do you not understand comedy?
I might have rained on your parade,
God damn it!
Uh,
you know. Well, I guess you can start with Paul. So Paul last week, was it last week or last week? But I don't know. He was he attended uh, what did he attend? It was a Zoom meeting for Alcoholics Anonymous.
What's an
Are you
alcoholic?
sure? Are you sure it's Paul who attended that? Are you sure it's Paul who attended?
No,
I
no,
know a
he
bunch of
means
people in
means
chat who
like
should have attended.
there's this like Zoom meeting I went to, and it's like for guys who have like issues with like their mental health and stuff, just have like problems. And Alvaro assumed it should be alcoholics all of a sudden. I don't know why, but alcoholics was the first thing in his mind when I say that,
So,
and
so, so,
that's why
Well,
it
no,
changed.
no, 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 no. It wasn't the first thing. The first thing was what's it called? I thought he was one of the disturbed, and he told me no, he
So
was.
I'm an
so,
alcoholic.
so your thought process went from he's going to a mental health Zoom meeting. Your thought process went to oh he must be mentally disturbed, and then he said no, and then your next thought was oh he's an alcoholic then.
How did you
Yeah.
jump? How did you jump from one? I don't get it. I don't get that
So,
whole process.
Oh
He mentioned it when we were playing like Among Us before he started playing Among Us. Then like when we just say that, like all of us just laughed. It was the funniest thing you ever had.
oh
Dude jumped that so fast. Like I don't know how that went.
he had it lined up. He had it lined up.
okay, forgive me. I had just come from reading a book. It's called Perfect. So, one of the characters in the book had been suffering. Well, he was a priest who retired because I think he had a lot of issues in his life, and
Of course it's a
he
priest.
ended up being. Sorry.
I'm saying of course it's a priest. Priest, priest have no
Of course, it's a
church.
priest.
Jokes aside, jokes aside.
so,
I
so
apologize
he
to
ended
any
up being in a
priests in
position
chat.
where. Mhm. So he ended up being in a position where what's it called? He'd end up taking, I don't know, a bottle of whiskey at the same time you'd take, I don't know, a bowl of cereal. So yeah, that's how thick things were.
That
Sounds like a pretty
Then
awesome breakfast.
yeah, and I was still to pick my friends more carefully. Anyway, we all make mistakes.
you're ready in the pit hole. Join us.
Anyway, so I don't know. Maybe I was having, pun unintended, hangovers from the, I don't know, from the book. And when this situation was brought to me, was this guy, he had gone through his own kind of therapy. So a friend of his is into music, is into vinyl. So he talked to him, and after learning what his problem is, decided that the best cure for this guy is music. And he introduced him to jazz, and in an instant, well, figuratively speaking, of course, it wasn't really in an instant, but uh, just like that, his problems were cured, or at least the pain subsided. You see, to a point where he became teetotal. So I thought that
So
I don't know.
the music sort of acted as therapy.
Yeah. So I thought that Paul was going for something similar.
Bro,
Uh,
I don't
You
even drink that much. The last
Wait,
time I
wait, wait,
drank
wait, wait,
was
wait, wait, wait.
a
what?
long time
Uh,
ago.
What, Joel? What?
Just a question here. How's there? I'm the only non-alcoholic.
Good.
Sorry?
I haven't taken alcohol for a while.
You
Like,
and
I
Paul
rarely take
probably.
alcohol.
Like Paul takes such little alcohol that he might as well just not take alcohol. You know?
Oh.
Yeah, Red's non-alcoholic, but that's different because he's underage.
Shots fired!
But anyway, shots fired about people with mental instabilities and issues. There is someone amongst the four talking that has it. Can he go deeper?
Okay, Joe. So you just had to call me out like that. Right? Okay, well, I guess well, not really. I don't think I can definitively say like I guess I have more experience with this sort of things. Like everyone kind of goes through their own mental health issues, and
Mhm.
everyone goes through it differently, and not everyone's not everyone has the same issues. Not everyone suffers the same pain, I guess you'd say.
Or at least not everyone has the same way of dealing.
Yeah, and dealing with it is like half. It's a huge portion of having it. How it affects you and how you decide to react is very um a very huge part of how of the mental health issue or whatever. Personally, I have taken into lots of egotistical behaviors. That's just how I cope with a lot of things. It's just my personal take on things. The rougher it gets, the larger your ego must be.
Yeah, that's I guess.
Well, okay, it doesn't work for everyone, and if I flaunt my ego here a little bit, it doesn't work for everyone specifically because of that reason. Because not everyone can
Can
completely.
handle.
Not
Not everyone can handle an ego as big as yours.
Well, true, of course, but also not
You're one
everyone.
of those guys. You're one of those guys who post memes. My back is sore from carrying all this ego.
No, why would I carry it? I'm narcissistic. I make you guys carry it. Okay, but seriously.
Well played. Well played. Well played.
Seriously, anyway, not everyone can handle it. In the sense that not everyone can turn to egotistical or narcissistic behavior to cover up um for or to help them cope with mental issues. It's not everyone kind of has that leeway, and it doesn't really work for everyone because of how different we are, of the different experiences, the different uh like situations that people are in. So as I said, like what works for me might not work for anyone else because they are probably not in the same situation that I am in. So
Well,
it's all
now
subjective.
that we're talking about other people, how about we move the mic to Paul, the man who, I don't know, actually attended the
Oh
meeting of.
yeah, true. Paul, you'd have much more experience talking about
Mhm.
this kind of thing since you were in a forum or whatever, a meeting.
Yes, Professor Paul.
A Zoom meeting sounds it doesn't sound like something you go to discuss mental health issues. A Zoom meeting sounds like like when you say the word or when you say Zoom meeting, like in my head I just picture like a bunch of 6-year-olds just yelling at a camera and the substitute teacher telling them to shut up. You know, That's
Recently put off the idea.
that's the mental image that my brain paints when you say Zoom meeting. But you, Paul, went to a Zoom meeting for a whole different issue, a very serious issue. So, uh, you can speak a little bit about that. I'll keep quiet.
Right. So what am I supposed to be talking about exactly?
I don't know. Okay, how
Just
was the
anything. Just
meeting?
tell us how.
Okay, how many people were there?
Tell us how it
Uh,
was. Tell us what you guys discussed. Give your own 2 cents
what?
of the issue.
What?
I'm saying just speak about what happened. Just speak about the interesting parts that caught your eye during that meeting. Your own opinions on these things. Just speak your mind.
Oh. Uh. Hmm.
We really put you on the spot. Huh?
Yeah, I'm like,
Only getting villager sounds.
I'm like, what do I say? I mean, okay, went to the meeting, I joined. Okay, basically, like the way Jacoby stated that like, guys have their own way of solving their own mental issues, their own mental problems. Like over there in that forum, it kind of like okay, like one of the things that most people really like told to do, especially when they have like issues and stuff, is like to talk in a kind of a group. Like you can imagine it like see, all of you have watched Endgame, right?
Yeah.
All of you have watched Endgame.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the time when like afterwards, like after many years, was it like 5 years after they killed Thanos when
Yeah.
Thor cut off his head?
Those are
Then they were
5 year
like
gap.
in that period of after the snap.
Yeah.
Then like you see this like a group. I guess Captain America was there and some other guys, and guys were like talking about I don't know how their lives have been after the snap, something like that. Like just imagine something like that.
So
So like
like I always see that sort of
you always
that
see,
depiction like no like it's a very popular counter, I
yeah,
guess, to
yeah,
mental
yeah.
health
It's a
issues.
popular thing.
People are like, just come, sit down, talk about it. But does that really help? Like,
Yeah.
I know it helps some people, of course, because some people talking about it helps alleviate
Hmm.
the pain, or having someone
About
who understands helps. But it
Yeah,
doesn't always work for everyone. Not necessarily everyone will find solace in that social little um group, sort of. Not everyone will sit down in that circle and want to tell others about what they're going through, or think that others will even help. Like, not and for some people, because for example, actually, um Joe, you're saying something, or is it your background audio again?
I
uh
don't know what you.
okay. So for instance, okay, I've been to high school with all of you guys, which is weird. I'm just now realizing that, because I was gonna tell a high school.
relatable.
I was gonna tell a high school.
Disclosure facts for everyone. Like
I was gonna
wherever this
tell a
is
high
going to
school
get
story.
posted, yes, we're all from the same high school,
Yeah,
not the
all from
same
the same high
clusters.
school. I was gonna tell a high school story, and then I just realized all three of you, okay, you're in the same high school. Anyway, so for context, I was going through some weird. Uh, for those who are not in high school with me, I was going through a really weird part in my like phase in my life around form 2, form 3. I
Puberty.
And I call
it
it
was
the
a
drop
little
from Christianity phase.
it was a little bit okay. Yes, there was that whole thing. I was migrating from Christianity to atheism. it's a huge point in my life. A lot of there was a lot of changes that were happening. You know,
That might be a symptom of the disease, actually, rather than the itself.
yeah, I guess. Well, it's more of an influence. The whole conversion thing really didn't do a whole lot to help. you know. Uh, but anyway, I was at that point in my life where there was a lot of stuff happening, and um, at that point, I told George about this yesterday, but I guess since we're all here, I might as well just repeat this part of the story because it's relevant to the topic we're talking about. At that point, like around from too early, around there, I think that was around the time my parents were separating. Uh, a lot of things were really up in the air. I found out my sister was my half sister and not my actual sister. All this family drama. Yeah. So there was a lot of things happening, and it felt very like so many things happening at once that kind of disoriented me and everything. And then my the whole faith thing happened, which is a whole other topic that I guess I'll discuss later, but not now. If the chance comes up. But throughout that whole situation, when I was going through this point in my life, where I guess you could say I would have benefited from some sort of mental health therapy or something like that. But I never really ended up opening myself up to others the way, like those people sitting in that circle and discussing the issues and letting it all out. As like Paul had mentioned earlier, like I didn't do that. I kept it all to myself, and I sort of tried to figure it out through by myself. Of course, I understand that not everyone has the luxury of doing that. That might sound very egotistical coming from me, but it's true. Not everyone has the luxury of doing things by yourself, and not everyone can just do things by themselves, and people need others to help them. But for me, I didn't really go through that. I sort of figured it out, tried to figure it out by myself, and you could have said, yeah, maybe it would have turned out a little bit different. I guess if there was more what's it called uh, there was more outside help maybe, but and yes, I am even right now. I'm not at the peak of I'm not perfectly mentally stable or mentally healthy or whatever. I don't think anyone ever is. Um, but
Well,
I got to at least a functioning state by relying on myself. So like that's the way you're saying that the whole discussion thing, the whole Zoom meeting thing, does it like on average how many people really take it to heart, like out of 10 people that are there, like how many people leave that meeting and really take it to heart and like end up end up feeling better about the whole situation and end up actually getting on a road to a healthier mental state. But I've been rambling for a while.
yeah.
But I feel like there's more than one issue to it.
Yeah, Joe, what do you mean there's more than one issue?
Because how many people take it to heart can be a huger number than one realizes. It's the question of how many people proceed. It's like during our guidance and counseling sessions in school. You hear it, you think about it, and you're like, okay, that sounds reasonable enough to change. But how many people do it? And then there's also the fact that people may use that group as a clutch instead. Like you might be helpful in your initial stages, but then you come to realize that you have a dependency on it, and then you can't walk on your own 2 feet. So it kind of devoids the reason of why you were there in the first place.
That's actually that's actually a good point. This is a very good point. So like you mean um so getting dependent on it to the point where you can't really survive anymore without this little self-help group that you built around yourself to help you get better.
Yeah,
I get it. That's a good way to put it. You get addicted to the help. I guess you could say.
yeah,
Are you guys really sure about that? I feel like those groups mostly emphasize about your kind of self growth. Like in the end, it's just your self growth. I don't think like most of them is just more of it's more of you can go this way and you can do this and this to kind of like guide you. But like as you say, like some people don't do it, but some people do it. So it's kind of like your own self growth in the end. Like I don't think
But yeah,
okay
most
if
of the
you're really
time.
dependent on that help, then I don't know.
give
It's not really advisable.
think about it in this example, right? You've gone in for a couple of months, gained guidance, right? You share your thoughts, and then they give you advice, right? So imagine a person. So imagine in this case, right? You become dependent on that such advice that if the problem comes again, right, and you're not given advice or you're told like think for yourself, you mentally crash because you're so used to the advice being given.
Yeah, it's a sort of dependency issue where yes, the whole topic could be focusing around self growth, but it's more of the fact that you're there means or at the very least, you need support from other people. You need to talk about these things. You need other people to kind of encourage you to pursue your own self growth. You need, you know, you need that person telling you that you can do it or whatever. You need that person motivating you to to achieve your self growth, and it's very easy to get dependent on that because it's like positive reinforcement. It's somebody telling you
I
that you can
think
do things, or someone trying to positively impact you, and it's very easy to get addicted to uh, that sort of yeah.
no, in my opinion, I think what they do is they kind of help you when you can't really help yourself at that point, because people who go there, I think they're at the point of desperation, the point where I don't know, you're basically shooting shots in the dark, you want someone, I don't know, to cast even, I don't know, even a flick of light, so that you can, I don't know, at least have some point, some sense of direction. So they help with that, but now as things get brighter in your life, they kind of stop feeding you fish. They kind of show you how to fish, but in a gradual way, and then they get you to a point where you can now fish for yourself, I guess, I guess that's the gradual process of self growth that they try to attain.
Okay, no, actually, no. That's an interesting point. The fact that it's more of they teach you how to fend for yourself rather than helping you, giving you fish. It reaches a point where they teach you how to fish. But then, how would you go about doing that? Okay, I know, like, none of us here are therapists,
Well,
but we're all
okay. I'm not a therapist, but
you have some
I'm a gym
doctorate degree.
fanatic.
You have some doctorate degree you're hiding from the rest of us here.
Let me explain. Let me explain. I'm a gym fanatic. So in the gym,
I
let's say for
detest
example, you want to
Yeah.
start training like properly. So for the first, I guess, for the first like 3 months, you're in a gym, especially gyms that have trainers. For the first about 3 to 6 months, or well, no, first 3 months, let's say that they'll train you. They'll show you do this, do that. They'll teach you different techniques and poses and everything. So in the first 2 months, or yeah, the first 2 months, they'll be very hands-on in the whole project. Then afterwards, they'll slowly loosen their grip. Once they realize, yeah, you're gaining your own momentum, they loosen their grip. they'll what's it called? They'll tell you to do things rather than show you how to do things. Then slowly, as time goes on, they'll tell you you're expected now to train yourself. For example, they might say today you might come to the gym and tell them like I'm here. Then they'll tell you, okay, what do you want to train? Chest and back. Okay, fine. You know the workout. You go and do it. So for the first time you hear that, you're going to be a bit tensed, but they tell you they'll take you through. They'll tell you, okay, fine. What are the chest exercises? Now that's when you have to recall them. Step by step. You do this, that, and the other. What are back exercises? You do this, and the other. What weight have you got it to? Okay, go up this level, and then slowly that way. Sorry, I might be speaking Greek at this point.
No. Okay. At least I understand what you mean. But
Yeah. So
well,
maybe that might be the general gist of what they do.
Yeah. But I want to talk of like specifics if we can. If we just spitballing ideas, because you made a good point. But I'm assuming if you were like, let's say, if theoretically speaking, we were therapists and we're just having we're having a discussion on how best to handle this thing. Training the body and training the mind is, I guess, we would be a little bit different. Although physical exercise is a good way to train the mind, is a good it generally makes you feel better. Like after yeah, Joe, background audio, yeah.
No, it's probably
Okay.
background noise.
So like after you do some exercise, you end up feeling better about yourself. Especially if you do them on your own volition. If you like when the whole COVID thing happened and I was stuck inside and I had nothing to do, I was so fucking bored. And out of some dumb idea, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do the Saitama workout. I'm gonna, I'm gonna do the Saitama workout for no reason, let it be noted that I love my hair. So I skipped. So I skipped the 10 mile run. I skipped the 10 mile run because I don't want to lose my hair. But anyway, I did I
It
did
doesn't work that way, but fine.
I did
We're gonna let that slide for today. Okay.
I did the rest of the Saitama workout, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, squats and everything. And I felt really good about myself after you do it and you take your shower and you're feeling fresh, you're feeling good, your muscles are aching. There's a like there's a rush you feel that's not really like an adrenaline rush, or not really a rush of
It's just
excitement.
a reference rush.
Yes, exactly. It's like an existential rush where you feel really good. You feel like everything is achievable for some reason. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like physical exercise can also like do a really good part in helping keep you like mentally healthy. Um, because in a way you end up also valuing yourself more, I guess, when you do physical exercise of any kind, because you end up you end up taking care of yourself more. You gotta eat healthy and stuff, otherwise you're not really doing any exercise. You gotta make sure you don't hurt yourself. You gotta take in the proper amount of protein, I guess, if you're working to build muscle. It's a whole process, and it makes you take care of yourself. And as you're taking care of yourself or your physical body, you end up getting you end up valuing yourself more, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. And in a way it kind of acts as therapy. Is is this
Though
the
I'm kind of
awkward
thinking about like
silent segment?
well, it's more of a contemplative silence.
Okay, okay. You're digesting. You're digesting.
That's the information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though I'm kind of thinking about what's it called? Uh, let's say for example, I don't know, like people who I don't know,
Okay, Paul's gone to eat. He'll be back in 30. Okay, sorry, continue.
like people who I don't know, maybe you get I don't know, addicted to a certain kind of sadness. You've been sad for so long, it has become I don't know, it has ceased to be a phase, it has become a reality, or at least a prolonged phase. It would have been shorter, but after a while, you become comfortable in the sadness. It still pains, it still hurts, but, it's, I don't know what you call it.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean. It's tolerable. It's reached the point where you take all this pain and the sadness, and it's tolerable enough, and you don't wanna change states because you're afraid that if you feel things might end up becoming worse. I get what you mean. It's a very reasonable uh
I'm not sure about,
well
I'm not sure about tolerance. I
Is
guess
it more
it's,
of a familiarity? The
yes, yes,
okay,
yeah.
you,
Yeah, I
could
guess
say
it's more of
that.
the familiarity of it. It's been with you for so long, you can't picture, I don't know, you can't picture life being any other way. So the concept of change
Seems
is
alien.
very scary, I guess.
Better the
So
devil you know than the angel you don't know.
I guess, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like, isn't that how it's always been? Humans are
Yeah.
always afraid of what they don't know, of what they don't understand. We're always we're always content. We don't like change, although sometimes change is natural and we can't do anything about it, and it just happens. But most of the time, we don't like change. That's why well, okay, now I'm diverting topics a little bit, but like, so a lot of people, um, like the whole grand scheme of life, I guess, you see like someone has a lot of dreams and aspirations when they're really young, and then they grow up and they start working, and they're like, yeah, it's just my starter job, I'll be here for like, a couple, I'll be here for like a year, maybe 2 years tops, and then I'll
Mhm.
leave. I'll quit my job and I'll go do my dream job. But then you kind of get comfortable. You kind of get comfortable in that situation that you're in, and a lot of people don't end up making the change because now they're too afraid. It's something that could be done, but it's not something that is done because now, as I said, of that comfort, of that fear of change, and it affects us on like on a deeper level, I guess, in that
Yeah.
regard, with a lot of things.
Though it's a strange complexity, isn't it? People who are addicted to that kind of sadness, they end up being very frustrated at life. But you'd ask them to change, and they won't change. But they're angry that things are the way they are, but they wouldn't change a single thing. It's like guys who, what's it called, don't wear seatbelts, but keep on holding the dashboard. You're like, wait, what's the whole point? You know?
Yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. It's very paradoxical, but
But isn't
we
that
are
just how life is?
yeah, we are complex creatures, and we are also paradoxical in nature sometimes. Because what was that well, okay, it doesn't really fit in well with this conversation, but I guess it can be reworked somehow. I think I was talking with Monty or something about this, and I was like, human beings, we are smart enough to be dumb. Um, and what I mean by that is we're intelligent enough to be able to perform certain really dumb things. Like there's certain dumb stuff that you can only do if you have like a certain level of base intelligence. If you understand what I mean. And
Totally.
yeah. But not downplaying humans because we're really smart. We do a lot of things. It's just that we're not perfect and we fuck up a lot. And we're always so confused. We always don't know what's going on. We're always trying to get answers. But there's still some optimism to be had. I mean, we've come this far, you know. Uh, we've done a lot of shit that was supposed to be impossible. So there's still hope for the future. You know, there was a time when crossing the sea was thought to be impossible. People thought you need the power of God to cross the sea. Now, like, we take trips to Dubai to buy our girlfriend's cars. Well, if you're rich. Um, if you're not,
Which were all broke.
if you're not rich, then you just walk down to the store. Yeah. And then they were like, yeah, okay, cool. We're never gonna fly. Nothing can enter the air that's heavier than air. And then now we have planes and jets and all this shit. And fucking reach the moon. We're going to Mars. Like humans are very good at proving themselves wrong. I think.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. Our predictions on the future have always been wrong. um, I mean, but at the same time, we still do a whole bunch. Um, the progress
So,
we make, it's pretty huge. Oh, someone's texting in chat.
Oh, so those beats were coming from your side. I was wondering.
No, they're not really. I think they're
while
coming
we're
from.
talking here,
Yeah,
sorry, while we're talking here, I'm beginning to realize why this whole support groups is supported. I guess
yeah,
like I was picturing a kind of situation where a guy has that kind of fear. Well, not really fear, more of addiction. It's an addiction to a sadness. They've never really been able to let it go. Well, maybe at first they couldn't let it go. Maybe it had to take its course. The sadness had to take its course for one reason or the other. Then, once it had taken its course, the individual chose to, I don't know, let it proceed. To extend I don't know, the length of or the length of period of sadness, I guess, and gotten to a point where it has become a reality, the sadness has become a reality. So I guess for such an individual to tell him that he could be happy, well, sorry for the bias, she or she could be happy. Um, I guess the person wouldn't really believe it, or maybe they say, for example, they have an opportunity to change things, and maybe the concept has been, I don't know, roaming around in their mind, but I don't know, they're unsure, maybe a certain setting where, well, I guess a comforting band of yes men would suffice. Sorry. Yeah, yeah, I guess.
well, yeah, that does make a lot of sense actually when you put it like that.
That was iconic. Clap. Yeah. I do.
And I guess while we're on this um topic on the whole existential thing, just talking about life in general. Um, I'm curious as to Alvaro, you and Joel, your different points, your different points of view on life, like how you approach certain things, like the particulars, the things that define your way of life.
What's up with that
Okay.
evil laugh?
Yeah, I know, right, man? Like it sounds like he's about to be like, "Oh, James Bond, I have your cat," some shit like
The anime antagonist where he laughs and he reveals out his evil plans for the
that.
villain.
Call it a
I've only
premonition of
used
doom.
20% of my power.
Call it a premonition of doom or something. I don't know. Yeah.
All right, then tell us
How about we
thy
start?
evil plan.
How about we start with Joel for this round?
Oh wow.
Yeah, exactly. Because Joel, you have been really quiet. I'm interested to hear your side. So take the floor.
Any other opinion is not good enough to preach to us. But yeah.
What?
But anyway, jokes aside. I don't know. I feel like I've told at least you two before. But like, for me, my view on the world is the world doesn't give a fuck. It's great, right? It's straight up simple, right? The world doesn't care that we exist as human beings on the planet or animals exist, right? We're the ones who come up with the coordinations to believe that we have a purpose or not, right? So as far as the world knows, we exist. What makes the world harder is just the associations of humans. Humans are their greatest comrades and their worst enemy. As for how I deal with life, I'm a nihilist by nature, man. I go with the flow.
Yes. I am also
Right?
of the nihilist, you know, consortium.
The
Right?
optimist.
Yeah.
Because if as you think about it, if the world is truly great, it doesn't give a fuck. That means we're the ones who have to come up with our goals in life. We're the ones who have to come up with what we want to do in life. And then there's only so much we can do as one person. We'll have our goals, we'll have our dreams, we'll go with the flow and try to execute them. But then the intersection of 7 billion people having the same dreams, different goals, they will collide at a point. Right? We can't prevent all collisions. We can surely avoid a couple. We can't prevent all. So rather than troubling myself with unforeseeable futures, I'll go with the flow. Whatever happens, happens, man. That's pretty carefree.
Okay.
I don't know about you guys, but like, I don't know, like, if you've ever experienced a time where you've overthought a plan to the point where even after execution, it fucks up somehow and it spits on your face. Oh yeah, by the way, I never asked. Are we allowed to swear on this podcast? Or are you just gonna end up bleeping?
It's actually a very good question. Boniface. Maybe suddenly went to AFK or something.
Now the podcast of two.
Yeah, no, it's a podcast of two. Well, my 2 cents in the matter. Well, he's back.
sorry.
Where is he? You're outside.
Yeah?
You're outside.
No, I'm not outside. I'm not outside. I was
Okay.
plugging in my laptop charge.
Sorry, break a bit.
I was plugging in my PC.
Okay.
Okay, so what did I miss?
Joel was giving us his 2 cents on life, I guess.
Okay, I had the whole night
Mhm.
part.
Yeah.
I agree with it to a point. And how about you? What's your 2 cents on the issue?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Um,
It's a fair enough
What's your
point, man. Not many
okay?
people think about the way life works.
Yeah,
Man.
it's okay. It's fair.
no,
It's
no,
fair
no, no, no.
enough.
Well,
But
it's okay. It's more. Well, okay. I do have an answer to that. It's. I'm a very complicated man, you know.
clearly,
I'm a simple man. I'm a simple man at heart, but
simple yet complicated.
I'm very complicated. Oh, I like complicating things. I like making things convoluted. I can't give it to you raw. I have to cook it. Add a bit of spice here, there. Maybe have it. What's it called? Grilled. Well, no, slow cooked over an open flame for 6 hours or something.
Uh-huh.
All right, storyteller,
Because
give
I
us your
can.
fantasy.
Because I can. Anyway, uh, well, I'm more of a doing things for their own sake kind of guy, I guess. If it's like I don't do things like with I don't know, like a particular goal in mind. Maybe it's because I'm very short-sighted or something. Figuratively speaking, of course. My asset is 2020, in case you're wondering, like the year.
Oh, like the year, then you must be fucking blind. 2020's been a bitch.
Well, I did say I was short-sighted.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I don't know. I
Well,
guess it has. So I'll have friends for the sake of having friends. I'll do something for the sake of doing something. I'll be kind for its own sake, not because I don't know.
so
I have
what's the
grand
sake of being
scheme
kind?
when I get anything out of it. I have
So,
conversations because
no, okay. Like when you say
I can.
when you say you do something for its own sake, so you're just kind because you can be kind.
Yeah.
Does that
Which is
mean
quite dangerous. I know.
does
It
that mean you
means
can
I
also
can.
be, spiteful because you can be spiteful?
Yes, it's why I have a moral code, or I don't know, a principle. It
Yes.
helps me
So
stay on the straight and narrow.
what is that principle? What is that principle? What is that thing that tells you
Well,
I can do this but I won't just solely because I can?
it's more of a. Admittedly, it has its backbone. It lies in uh, the church's teachings, But recently, for the most part, it has gained a bit of a cosmopolitan view. I realized it's like Ira said, knowledge gained from one place turns you stale, becomes stale, sorry,
You hear that?
becomes stale.
You hear that, guys? Man, come to this
Yeah,
podcast. We
so
have Avatar: The Last Airbender quotes. Okay, it's the best podcast. We have Uncle Ira quotes.
yeah.
uh,
So I don't know. So I realized, yeah, if I went down my road of just following one thing, I might end up being very stupid. Let me be honest. I'll end up being very stupid.
Well,
So,
I find that that's necessary.
I opted for a metropolitan view. It all started with
I was named
Alright.
all the
after
more
my
complex.
I was named after my grandfather, and just
But
because for the sake of being named
but
after my
let's be
grandfather.
honest. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah,
Like I'm gonna speak as for only like Kenya in general.
yeah,
But like this it's a thing where it's like there's so many the surnames of people are so similar that it's so confusing. It's like you cannot have your own unique name.
yeah.
And I mean,
It's
it's
very
good to
hard.
have a family name, but having a name where it's like you could be three people in the same class having the same exact name from different families.
Yeah, and we
I feel like
actually
that's an issue.
yeah, when we actually experienced that in high school, a whole bunch of people who just had really the same names, and it was so
Mm.
but
Brian.
yeah, Brian, fucking everyone in Kenya is called Brian for some fucking
Yeah.
reason. I know, like
Or
this is
have
random.
you ever gone to your family meetings and then you realize when you
Oh
go to the country and they say
yeah,
or something like Kimani wa Kimani wa Kimani and you're like who?
yeah, and then like three of you fuckers stand up. It's so fucking annoying. But um, in that regard, it kind of made me, because I came up with the whole Halal Jacobi thing all the way back in Form 2 when I was going through that shit that I mentioned earlier. When I was going through that change in my life, I really wanted something that I could identify with, you know. And actually, it was very fitting at the time, because a little breakdown of my name. It had a lot to do with. It was very religiously based. At the time, I was in my transition, and I was like, I need something to identify myself with, and I was just searching up some stuff, and
That's good, glad to.
yeah, yeah, and then you know how religion. Oh, I was Catholic, so how the Catholic teaching now. It's like you know all these other schools of thought are are supposed to be deceiving, are supposed to be turning you away from the one true God or whatever. So going down my path of atheism, a lot of people and taking it would be taking it as like, because actually this was an issue I had where a lot of people thought uh, moving away from from my Catholic faith or from Christianity meant becoming some sort of weird ass devil worshipper dude. uh,
You also face oh okay wasn't
yeah,
alone.
yeah. A lot of people took that connotation of like, oh, you leaving it automatically means if you don't believe in God, man, it automatically means you believe in the devil or some shit. So I was at the point I was like,
There are only two sides to the coin.
yeah, yeah, the only two sides. So I was at the point where I wanted a name that was kind of spiteful, but at the same time kind of playful. So I ended up settling on Halal Jacobi, and Halal. The name Halal is like it's a play on Samael, which is the name of Lucifer when he was an angel, and then Jacoby was Jacob from the Bible, the guy who fought God in the angel of God in that wood place, and then got hit in the hip or something. So I chose a name that had sort of duality. Yeah. um. Well, and it kind of became my identifying marker. Although it's been kind of annoying using halal, because every time I mention it, some people, like, for instance, I was playing Among Us the other day, and my name was Hellel, and people in the chat were calling me Helen, because they thought I misspelled. It got really annoying. I was like, oh
That
my
was
god,
bound to happen somewhere.
why did I why did I choose this? Why did I fucking choose this name? And that's why here I am, Jacoby. There's a little short
It would have
story.
been
There's a little short story.
it would have been worse if you were in one of these situations where what's it called? You're playing Among Us and there's no VC. So a guy sees you as Helen, then
No, no.
he gets a crush on you, and then he's like, I must speak to Helen. Can I take you on a date? And you're like, hold up, I'm a guy.
Yeah, thankfully that didn't happen. But anyways,
It might be the running joke the next time you play Among Us too.
I wouldn't be surprised. No one tell Paul. No one tell.
Don't
You're gonna post this up somewhere. He's gonna see.
Probably. But anyway, we drifted from the point. We're talking about worldviews, I guess, and I started drifting off before I gave my own kind of worldview. So yeah, I agree a lot actually with Joel's points, Fiscus's points on nihilism.
Yeah, Facebook is right though. Okay.
Being being atheist, I kind of don't really have belief in a sort of an afterlife or anything like that. I don't really believe that anything happens when we die. So for me, it's more of well, I might not believe in it. Yeah, I might be wrong. I'm not presumptuous enough to claim I know everything in the universe. You know, it's just I'm just saying that I don't believe in that possibility. But yeah, anyway, I might be wrong, but I'm not gonna end up living my life on what ifs. You know what I mean. What I know for sure is existence. I I know that I exist. I know that I live at this very moment in time. At this wherever I am, drinking my coffee. I know that this is real. This exists, and I'm sure of this existence. So I will utilize, I will maximize out my existence. I will enjoy as much of it as I can because the odds of existence of you even existing in the first place is astronomically low. Like holy shit. Like human beings are actually really we don't think about it a lot because we're always around each other. But when you take a step back, and I think because I'm doing astronomy and astrophysics, it helps. It helps with a perspective, and you see the measurements of these kinds of things like light years and shit, and how huge ass fucking galaxies are, and how the estimates of how large the universe is, and you hear that the possibilities of numerous like an infinite number of universes and stuff like that, and it just puts you in your place really well. Like you're nothing but a speck of sand, actually less than that. Like if you
it's
were to
kind of like
observe,
the
like if you
thing
were
with
to observe the universe from an outside perspective, our entire galaxy wouldn't even be visible as a dot, and it kind of puts you in a perspective, and in that case, it also, yeah, it makes you feel kind of small and insignificant, but it also makes your existence significant because in all that chaos, in all that mess, somehow probability played its game and humanity came to be, and somehow your parents met each other and decided they like each other enough to make a child, you know and then the genes just lined up to form you, and it's special in that way, in the fact that it's born from madness or whatever, or random, okay, not really random chance, but very low odds, I guess. It makes it all the more precious. And in that case, if you just, at least for me, just enjoy the fuck out of every day that you can. Yes, the sad days, yes, the happy days. There'll always be that distinction because you can't have the good without the bad. Otherwise, the good would lose meaning. You can't have good days for the rest of your life because you wouldn't see them as good days. They'd just be normal because you'd have nothing to compare them to. You know, when you're
Yeah.
yeah, it's the bad days that give the good days meaning. So and all of it, all it's just like just being able to exist at all, whether you're feeling shitty or you're feeling good or you're just feeling meh. Like the fact that you're just being able to exist and you know that you exist for some reason, unlike every other animal uh, on our planet, we have awareness. We are alive. We know we are alive, and we have this sort of existential, you know, cosmic awareness, and that in and of itself is kind of special. And although I don't believe that there's anywhere you go when you die, that's all the more reason to make sure your life is an interesting one, and don't give a fuck about what people think after you're dead because it doesn't matter. You won't be here to hear them anyways.
Yeah, that's true. You'll be too dead to give a damn.
Yeah, like I was having this conversation with my sister. We were talking about children, and she said she wants kids. And I said, well, I'm not
Mhm.
sure. I'm not sure that I want kids. And she's like, why? Why are you not sure that you want kids? Kids is such a good thing. You die, you leave on a legacy. And I'm like, well, the way I see it, once I die, it doesn't really matter anymore. As bleak as that sounds, in that regard, like technically speaking, as far as I'm concerned, everyone stops existing when I die. My kids will stop existing. My house will stop existing. Everyone I've ever known will stop existing once I die because as far as my belief is there's nothing past that, and it's not like you can come back and admire what you left behind. It's moving on, and having children for the sake of continuing on a generation. I think that's very I personally I wouldn't do that. I understand what if other people do. It's just um it wouldn't make sense to me. uh,
Yes.
but anyway, that was majorly
So,
off topic. Again.
so there's something that happens when what's it called? I think I would call it the quaground between different theory, I guess.
For all those non-English,
Yeah.
non-Swahili speakers, how do you translate that?
How do
Oh,
you
look,
translate
I
that?
have I have the perfect translating. It's that meme for Thanos. Reality is often
Uh-huh.
disappointing. That's the perfect.
No, no, well, no, okay, no, well, no, mine was more of, well, not really disappointing. Reality is more of different. It's not what you'd expect, I guess. Like, I follow Calligraph Jones as a, what's it called?
Oh my god!
Stories
Don't
of
don't bring up
Calligraph
the
Jones.
Calligraph Jones thing again. Don't bring.
Yeah. Okay, so Calligraph Jones at one point, he was a bachelor. Well, as all men are, I guess. He was a bachelor, just trying to hustle in Nairobi, and he struck it big, in the music industry. It got to a point where he was able to move from living in Kayole to nice apartment in Lavington, and in his mind he thought that's it, that's I don't know, that's the peak of life, and I don't know, his whole perspective. He was saying that his whole perspective of life changed once he got his first child. His whole perspective of life changed. Suddenly, he didn't value things such as I don't know, fame, or I don't know, what people thought of him much. He didn't value. Initially, he didn't care, but now, because I don't know, having a child, it brought about some change of, I guess it brought a maturity, a certain maturity in him, I guess. Maybe that will happen in a situation where Mr. Boniface suddenly becomes,
I wake up, I wake up one day, I'm like, oh my god, I want all the babies in the world.
No. You just
I'm
wake up
kidding,
one
I'm
day,
kidding. But yeah, I know what you mean.
a certain someone,
I
a
know what
certain
you
someone calls you and they're like, Boniface, I have your child, and you're like, wait, what?
Well,
Yeah.
I can't speak for my future self because, as we just established, human beings are really bad at making predictions. I mean,
Mm.
if you asked me 10 years ago what I'd be like, yeah, I probably wouldn't picture, some grumpy, egotistical, nihilistic atheist. That's probably not what I'd say. But then here I am. So we're all constantly in motion. So we constantly change. So I will not speak for my future self. Maybe, maybe something will happen. Maybe I will reignite my desire for children or something. Well, it's not really that I don't have a desire for children. It's just that I like it's an if. It's an if. Like it's just the like it could happen. It could not. It's like I could flip a coin for it. Well, at this point in time.
So it's an option, you're just not actively pursuing it.
Yes, like that. Like if I have kids in the future, yeah, it's fine. It's not like I will hate my children or anything like that. It's just that I am not actively seeking out children. I think that's a better way to put it. Uh, especially
Well,
especially with the amount of family drama I have.
Yeah.
since this is a heavy fast podcast, and since where it seems like if this gets posted, we're going to cause a lot of enemies.
Yeah, it got. Uh, well, isn't that the whole point of podcasts? Piss people off.
All right, since we're on that
name
road,
name
right?
name 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 one successful podcast that has not pissed people off.
No, but we used to support aiming to
Like
piss people off.
we're openly speaking about our opinions. We're bound to piss someone off. It's just
Yeah.
normal. People don't like it when you speak your mind.
All right, then let's continue burning bridges, right? We might as well state our religious standing because someone has already stayed. Yes.
Might as well. As long as it's interesting. As long as the conversation remains interesting.
I'll ask our friend there, Alvaro, where do you stand in the religious setting?
Why?
Where do I stand in the world? Why?
I can't hear you.
Huh?
We couldn't hear you.
Sorry,
Repeat your
what are you
question.
saying?
Oh, I was asking you in the terms of religious status, where do you stand?
Oh, religion.
Hmm.
Joel, man, you chose the one topic, like the one topic that everyone will get
I told
pissed
you
off
that
at.
we were
Like
He's
talking
probably
about bridges, let's burn.
the only other
He's
topic,
probably a BBS supporter, a burning
the
bridges.
only other topic that you could have chosen that could have gotten more hate than religion is politics. And that's a very narrow vote. But okay. Let's just I'm assuming we have very open-minded listeners. And I'll try and edit this in a way that doesn't seem too distasteful.
If it doesn't work out, you can just cut it, and then you'll be for the people who are listening only to hear. No sweat.
Yeah. Okay. should this be an open discussion, by the way? Should I open up the floodgates and let everyone who's listening give their own 2 cents of an issue? Because I feel like religion is a very personal thing, and a lot
Sure.
of people have really strong views on things like religion. Me being one of them.
Yeah.
And
Sure. I'll be the last one to talk since I know I might get the most say out of it.
I'll be last after. No, I think I might actually end up being more offensive. But let me change up some permissions and let people speak their mind.
When I speak. It would be funny if you give them permission and they all just shut up.
Everyone just shouts at the same time. Okay, so I've changed your permission, but because of how the call works, if you want to speak, you have to exit then come back, and then the VC will update your permissions. So if you want to add your own 2 cents, just exit, come back, and then you can unmute and speak your mind. If you don't want to contribute, that's fine. You can just stay muted, I guess.
We can be the three stooges that get hated on.
Nah. Not everyone really wants to talk about this. I mean, it's a very sensitive thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so I believe the question was directed at Alvaro. George, what's
Yeah.
your current religious stance?
Current religious stance. Complicated.
define
Nothing simple again.
define complicated.
Define complicated. I don't know.
Okay. Let's just make it let's make it a little bit easier. What do you believe in? Yeah.
Well, I do believe in God. Yeah.
Which
I'll
one?
admit that matter hasn't changed.
Which one?
That well, the Christian God.
Okay.
I'll admit that hasn't changed. But you see, I'm Catholic, you see, and as Catholics are, we tend to have our relationship with God is like a relationship in the same way I guess you'd have a relationship with, for example, a woman of sorts, you know. You
I'm sure he's not offended by that.
you know, it's one where it banks on a lot of commitment, you know. Never really oaths. You don't take an oath. It's more a commitment, you know. You commit to, I don't know, live by, you know, a certain set of principles, you know, to do certain things, you know. And as relationships go, I guess, when it gets to a point where, you know, your desires, or maybe I guess your plans and the relationships plans don't meet or collide, one or the other has to fall short, you know. Either your plans have to go out the window, or something even a bit more volatile, the relationship has to come to an end, or at least I don't know, a sort of break or something.
So you're on a break.
That's kind of where I am right now, I guess.
How did you tell him?
You're seeing other people.
So who are you seeing? Who are you seeing?
Who am I seeing?
Who are you seeing? Or you're just taking a break from seeing people in
I'm
general.
well. I'm short-sighted, meaning I can barely see shit.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
You
Okay. Well, before me and Joel speak, does anyone else wanna kind of add? Anyone? Anyone? Brad says he can't speak until his dad
know.
is gone to sleep. Well, see, that's interesting actually that you would say that. Brad is like he can't speak about religion till his dad goes to bed. I'm gonna talk about that, Red. Uh, Joel, you have background audio. Um, I find that a lot of people end up having this sort of I don't really know what to call it. So it's predetermined religion. Yes, I guess you'd say that predetermined religion, where you you end up just subscribing to the religion that your parents or your parental figures or whoever you stay with, whoever is bringing you up, whoever you look up to, you end up just um what's it called pre-believing, I guess, that. So for instance, majority of people, if their parents were Christian, they will be Christian. If their parents were Muslim, they'd be Muslim, and that would probably be the only reason. So it's not everyone does this, of course, but actually a surprisingly large amount of people do this, and I think it's something that isn't talked about as much as it should be, because matters of religion it's very yes, it's very sensitive, and you can step on a lot of toes if you're not careful, and offend a lot of people. But it's also a very important subject. It's also something very interconnected with us as human beings. The concept of God, the concept of religion has been with us like for almost as as long as human history, as long as we've been able to record shit, we've been recording stuff about gods. The earliest caveman paintings and stuff like that. I was reading about some Chinese cave paintings that were illustrating stars and some dragons and gods and stuff like that. And it's so intertwined in us. And I think people need to, I guess, um, be more, I guess, involved in this sort of thing, because a lot of people, as I said, now take that route of like, oh yeah, I was brought up in a Christian way, so Christianity is right. I was brought up in an Islamic way, so I am a Muslim. A lot of people just leave it at that point and don't end up exploring other options. I was like that actually for a large majority of the time that I was Christian. I was Christian, and yes, it's not like I didn't know that other religions exist. I knew it, but I never bothered to check. I never bothered to ask what their belief is. I was just like, nope, they're probably wrong. I'm probably right, because my parents, brought me up in this way, and it's fine. It's valid to think that way, because parents are supposed to take care of you. You're supposed to um, give you, all the things you need to, set it off in life, I guess. So trusting them in matters like this it's very actually it's expected, if nothing else. Um, but also I think exploring other religions and having open discussions about these things can end up helping you, or helping anyone rather, in that way. For example, like you might be going through a rough patch and not speaking with not speaking with each other, but remember when back in high school when we had this conversation for the first time, and
Yeah.
I gave you my 2 cents on the issue, but you it, it was through, I guess, well, I guess you could call it criticism. Um, that that from that point you kind of your faith kind of grew, at least from my perspective. You kind of became stronger in
Yeah.
your faith, and you were able to answer some questions that you previously couldn't answer. And it also helped you got like a little bit more confident in what you believe in, and not just believe for the superficial reasons, you know, like having long hard things about things like this, because ordinarily, yeah, it's a huge part of our lives, but religion is not something we often think about it like very too seriously, I guess. Like you just go through your day if you're a person, as long as you just go to church on Sunday, your parents, no one complains. You just try and do quote unquote good things, and that's the end of that. You don't, like you hear the stories, you read the Bible, you think some of them are true, some of them maybe aren't, and you just continue on with your day, and you don't really give a lot of thought into it as much. And it's the same with I think it's the same with every religion. Well, at least the major ones, I guess. A lot of people, majority of people, even I have friends who are like Islamic and stuff, and they are completely like they don't bother asking asking our Christian friends stuff like that, like having these discussions. Although I feel like it would be something worth discussing, because the whole concept of God is so huge, and like its implications are really major. Like the implications of a all powerful being who can literally, let's say, do anything you want, send you to paradise or send you to eternal damnation or something like that, whatever. Like it's something that I guess people, well, at least in my opinion, I think people should be taking a little bit more seriously. As ironic as that sounds coming from an atheist. uh, anyway, Red, Red, are you free to talk now, or does anyone want to add something? Okay,
Not really.
Red, yeah, go on.
I said not really.
Oh, you're not ready. Cool.
Right.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay.
It'd be funny if, I don't know, we're doing all this talking, and the guys who are listening, fell asleep.
Well, it'd be like, oh man, we have such attentive listeners. We have such a good audience, and they just but it's fine, because podcasts are not something you interact. Oh, okay, about things. Podcasts are not something you interact with a lot. It's just something like you put in the background, and you just listen, and you kind of do your own thing. It's like background music, I guess. That's basically what we are. Glorified.
Bumper is washing dishes, actually.
Yeah, see, exactly. We're glorified background music. So, in that case, let's continue burning bridges, Joe. Do you want to start, or should I? Joe,
If
do you want to
not,
start? Yeah.
no.
Was
Well,
that okay?
if no one else is going to talk, I guess it's my turn, right? I'll just be
Yeah.
the last.
Yeah.
And basically, my stance is not having a stance, right? I'm affiliated in whatsoever. I do not stand behind, nor associate with any religion. And that's kind of how I think. That's kind of my end game at this point.
How did you get to that conclusion?
How did I get? All right, being born in a standard typical Christian family, I was just never into it. Right, you go for church for the sake of church.
Yeah.
You do the protocols for the sake of protocols, right?
Yeah.
So I can never say typically I was Christian. I was just floating, right? And then it's really a case where it's like you see the whole religious debate, right? It's actually choosing which one's correct, right? And if we start thinking about it critically, like how does that help us, man? That heaven, hell, that's a step too far away from my imagination. And like we clearly don't even know if the story is fact to fact, right? We have the claims of it, each book or each religion being, somehow associated with God or the being, and they're supposed to be critically correct, right? So now it's a case where it's like, for me, it's always been a case where when someone says this is the true religion, I say my opinion, my question is what devalues all the other religions. No one came up with a conclusive answer. And I was like, if there is one, there is one. If there is none, if there's lack of one, we need to know why. And if there's all, right, it's like, then, see, that means like if everything applies, I mean, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's like you choose your route. And in that case, it was like, so what does religion do with my day-to-day life? And I was like, apart from the morals they installed, which were effective in the dark ages, and then as we come up to modern society, there's something called the Constitution. And let's be fair, like I do appreciate all the morals, the religious aspects gave us, but it's like at this point, it's like there's only very few differences between the Constitution and it, and I can take that. So it's like I might as well remove myself from the issues of all the religious, factors of whether God exists or not. But if He does, right, and He hasn't revealed Himself to us, or He's going to reveal Himself to us to whatever or wherever said place is, right? See, as long as the morals coincide, right, I feel like there won't be an issue.
Okay, actually, that's a
so I was just like
that's a very good point. Because actually, I get this question a lot by people when I say I'm not religious. They're always like, "Where do you get your moral standards from?" And it's very interesting. I guess topic to discuss is a lot of people get their morals from religion, and it's true religion has influenced a lot of present day morals. But that's not always been the case. We it's not that sometimes you do good things because you're a Christian. Like knowing the distinction between right and wrong, or at the very least the society's distinction between right and wrong. You don't necessarily have to be religious to to do that, because if that were the case, then there would be no true morality, because every religion has its own little differences in what they think is morally accurate. Like so for instance, right off the top of my head, the whole Islam marriage thing, of course I chose that one. um for example, there's like,
Boss.
of course
someone still salty.
yeah, of course I'm still salty. I'll talk about that in a later podcast. When we're discussing relationships, but anyway, um so so for example, let's say in Islam, it's perfectly moral, and perfectly fine to, like, I guess, marry a couple wives, like 4 wives or something. In Christianity, or in Catholic, or specifically in the Catholic faith, that's a no-no. It's a huge no-no. You're not even supposed to divorce the wife you have. It's supposed to be binding. So that's already like very surface level moral disputes. But the whole thing is, there's an underlying, I guess you could say, moral factor between every single religion, I guess, just built into human nature. Personally, I would say they came about as evolutionary benefits. Uh, as dull as that sounds. So, for example, uh, we stayed in communities because chances of survival were better. If you stole food for the communities, from the community or from someone else, it means, people would get less, which means there'd be less chances of survival. Hence, that's a negative thing, and then the society would punish you for that. So, for instance, you'd steal something and you'd compromise, the sake of the community, and that kick you out or something, or you'd kill someone, and that would be negative because now you've reduced the manpower of the village or something, and now you're unstable because they don't know if you're gonna keep harming their progress, so they'll kick you out or something, or they'll kill you or whatever. And through that, through evolving to survive, we ended up building our own sort of moral code in that regard. Okay, that's just my theory on the issue. I don't know. I wasn't around back then. But if I had to guess, that's probably where I'd say it. But in terms of religion in general, I I'm an atheist, but let me make a very clear distinction. I think I made it earlier. I'll make it again just in case. I don't believe in a god, but that does not mean that I claim a god does not exist. So it sounds like I'm dancing. It sounds like dancing on the issue, but what it is basically is saying I don't know everything, so a god might exist, but I do not believe in the existence of that god. So, for instance, we don't know everything in the universe. Anything could be out there. Mm, and in the same way, we have not attained perfect knowledge. We don't know 100% of all the information in the universe. We can't say for certain that, let's say, I don't know, Zeus isn't real. We can't know for sure because we don't know everything. So, but I think most of you would agree when I say you don't believe in Zeus. Yeah, you don't believe in his existence, although that does not mean that he does not exist. He might not, but you don't believe in his existence. It's just not likely in your opinion, or in in public opinion, I guess. So a lot of us are atheists in regards to those gods. We can say we're atheist in regards to a lot of ancient gods, Zeus, Hades, whatever. All those we don't worship Ra, whatever. We're technically atheists in regard to those ones. Um, so
Well, guess in my situation, what's it called? Mine is in form of a relationship. It's more of I am
you
not
you
single.
you you're blocking them. You're you've archived the chats.
you know.
You've archived the
Yeah. Make this religious topic more awkward so that we can get more hate speeches and comments whenever this pops up.
Yeah.
I can see the comments right now.
Oh man, this is gonna be a whole field day in the comment section. But anyway, there's always a field day when religion is being discussed. So anyway, yes, I would say the only difference between me and most people is I take that one step further. I just don't believe in the existence of any god. does not mean that one does not exist. It just means I don't believe in one. Uh, well, okay. I don't really, should I go into why?
No, for today, just our
I
stance,
think,
just our stance.
yeah, okay.
Let's
I'll just leave it at that.
let's not get pitchforks now.
Yeah, I'll just leave it at
We've
that.
burnt enough bridges for the day.
Yeah. I don't want to come off as antagonizing or, and I don't want to go on a whole.
Let me just
I don't want to go on
clarify.
a whole last rant.
Alright. Let me just clarify my difference between Hillel and me when he said he's an atheist and he doesn't believe, and I say I'm unassociated. Just to put it clear facts, it's a case where it's like you think about it, you detect about it, and then you're like, I'm a dude who's like, what's the benefit of choosing one? What's the benefit of believing one? And I'm not the whole dude of salvation story for anyone who hears that. I'm cool taking whichever route. So in that opinion, I was like, I've always thought that if I keep my morals in a technically good place, I'm okay either way. So I don't really need, just say need or want to take a stance. So while Bonnie is clearly showing is his stance, I'm the one dancing around saying I'm okay either way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess that
Going with the flow.
that would be a more clearer picture. I am definitively saying that I don't believe in one, and you're just like, I don't know. Pretty much.
I know I didn't want to say this in the podcast, but I was like, I don't give too much facts about it to actually make a stance.
Yeah. Well then, after talking about the worst topic, and after probably getting roasted, George, you should have just said you're religious, man. You should have balanced out the equation. Now everyone is gonna think that we're some devil worshipping fuckers. Everyone's gonna be like, you see these guys, Joel, next time we're hosting, okay, we're getting a priest or something. Okay.
Well, can we also make it all definitely clear that we're all from Christian families?
We're getting some questions in chat. Barbara is saying, we mentioned that we don't think anything happens after death, so why live? The question's directed to me and Joel.
Can I speak? May I speak?
Okay, yeah, speak, and then we'll answer the questions after.
Something happens after death. You sleep. And the reason why I know this is because I do a lot of research. So let me just explain. The whole concept is when you die, you don't go to heaven or hell or judgment. You just sleep till judgment comes. It's like just dreaming till judgment. It's pretty much it. What happens after you die.
Okay. Well, given that distinction, then it like, wouldn't it really not matter for how long you slept? Wouldn't the whole thing after death just be, basically judgment? Basically, yeah. Paul is asking how is that confirmed. We're not getting into that. It's just his opinion. But anyway, no, we're not here to have like a full-on bloody theological debate or anything. We're just having a normal conversation. So taking what you say into consideration, Red, see, it would just be basically the same as saying there is an afterlife, because whether you sleep because whatever time judgment comes, whether you sleep for a year or you sleep for 10 years or whatever, the judgment is the after death, is the after, whatever happens afterwards. After you, even if the whole sleep and waking up and judgment thing, that's everything that happens afterwards. That's a whole process, I guess. Red, red.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I can hear you.
So it would basically just be the same as just saying there is an afterlife. Am I correct in that statement?
But
Okay.
I guess on my part, I'll say that there is an, I'll say that there's a afterlife. Sorry about that. My dog is doing some weird shit outside.
It's okay.
And so, according to me, I think it's an afterlife because, okay, personally, I don't really go. I don't like going to church. I only go to church because my parents force me to go to church.
Uh-huh.
I don't really see the point of all the stuff people put into religion. There's no real point in going to church. There's no real point in going to Sunday school. There's no point in
Why is there no point?
constantly, because there's really nothing that you learn in church that you can't learn by yourself. You just go and get you put on this guilt trip where just because you did something wrong, it means that you're a sinner and it means everyone else is more righteous than you are. Okay, let me talk from my personal experience with church. Okay, so the church that my parents like, there's this pastor who just constantly talks about himself and how God blesses him. And he makes this image that God only loves him and the rest of us are like others in the world. He's like, oh, this my friend was sick, I prayed for him, he got healed. Or I gave my friend this money and he ended up buying a car from this money. I don't know what. So it's like he's the only person who God cares about, and the rest of us are like extra in the world. So just going to church doesn't really change anything about you and religion. What sleep thing? Oh, Paul. Paul is asking, what? How is the sleep thing confirmed? Can I answer that, Bonnie, or
Yeah. Go ahead.
do I
Go
go?
ahead. Go ahead. Answer.
Also, Paul, about the sleep thing, if you, okay, according to the research I did, any time in the Bible where someone died, they didn't say that he came from judgment or something. They were asleep. That's why, like, what example? The kid who died and people are like telling Jesus, "Oh, you didn't heal him," and whatever. Jesus said he's asleep,
Okay.
and he woke up. And
I think I understand.
Lazarus,
I think I understand. There's a little bit of confusion. Paul was asking you, how is the sleep thing confirmed? Because like how you started off saying it was like the whole afterlife thing was confirmed. Like yeah, that was what was being implied. I think by how you say
forget,
it, and when he was
forget.
asking that
No,
question.
no, 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 no. I only said that I just believe in it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine, it's fine. Anyway, like I don't really
It's
see the
a
point in going to church.
Paul. It's not sleep like a normal sleep. It's some ethereal sleep. When you like I actually read about what he's talking about. It's for instance, like, close your eyes and like count to one. Like, that's from the beginning of the universe till the second you were born. That's how much time passed for you. Like, you didn't go through billions of years of the universe's forming, of stars forming and shit like that, because you didn't have any concept of time until you were born. I'm making this conversation assuming that souls and everything and all this stuff exists. So in that way you are asleep, and in the same way you will sleep, quote unquote, until this so-called judgment happens. So it's like when you close your eyes. You ever had that sleep where, like, you're really tired and you close your eyes and you open them and you feel like it's been 5 minutes, but like 3 hours have passed. Like that's the kind of sleep you need, I guess. Okay. Uh, okay. Now that that's done, Joel, do you want to answer her first? Do you want to answer Barbara's question first, or shall I? She asked, since we don't think anything happens after death, why do we live? Why live?
Like, okay, to put in retrospect, right? My hypothesis is right. I've never taken the stance that anything I do on Earth will affect the nature of where we're going, if there is a place we're going, right? Like, maybe getting there will be an issue, right? But after that, see, whatever you do on Earth is meaningless. So it's like, I've never associated the two places having any correlation apart from the deeds. And the part for why I live, though, I mean, as I said, my hypothesis is we exist for the sake of existing. The world doesn't give a damn about us, so it's a case where it's like we give our own reasons to exist. Our goals, our desires, our everything is our reason to exist. If you lack them, you're just floating.
Yeah, okay. So for me, it's actually very similar to Joe's answer. Um, Nothing happens after death. Yeah. So, for example, there's no motivation for like heaven or hell or anything. But why you live is because, for me, so okay, I'm speaking on my own behalf from this point on, because there's nothing that's there after death. Yeah, because as far as you know, this is the only moment when you are alive and you can feel and you can exist. Yeah, you live to enjoy that existence because you have the opportunity to enjoy that existence. So whether anything happens after death or not, it doesn't like I don't believe that anything does happen. I think you just die and it just ends. um but either way, we don't know. That's just what I believe. We might be wrong. No one's died and checked for us. It's something you kind of have to burn that bridge when you cross it. um but in retrospect, because there's so much un, uncertainty surrounding this, because you don't know whether there is an afterlife or anything. And personally, I just believe that there isn't one. But in that case, it ends up motivating me more to live. The fact that I know that I believe that there's nothing that happens at the end of this, it means I should utilize the little time I have, my smallest lifespan, and do as much shit as I want to do, as I have the ability to do. You know, like go out, get drunk, eat ice cream, do the things that I can do at this moment in time and that I am aware, like that I'm 100% sure of, rather than live my life for a death, for an afterlife that may or may not happen. So that's kind of my answer to this question. And Monty, I think you said you had something to add. We can't hear you. You're not muted, but I can't hear you. Can anyone hear him? Is it just me?
I can't hear him as well.
It's a common problem.
Check your settings or something.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. You can hear.
Now we can.
Right. Okay. So, just something that Joel had said earlier about not caring about what life is. I don't know. He said he was talking about caring about the meaning behind religion and stuff like that. But now, my question, or rather my problem with being human is why, not why, the problem being human is why should we be concerned about our goals if everything else is going to be futile? And as in, we've evolved this far to get knowledge so that we know that we can.
Okay. You kind of cut off there, but I get what you mean. It's the pessimistic nihilism because nothing matters. Why should anything matter? Joel, that you wanna answer him? That question was directed at you. I
It's nothing.
I can answer, but you do it.
Alright, I started last time. What about you start this time and then I'll finish it off?
Okay. So it's I feel like this is a case of perspective because Monty, the way you've laid it out, it's still nihilism. It's still the whole thing of nothing matters, but it's all now about perspective. You can be like nothing matters, so yeah, everything I do, even if I accomplish all my goals, it will be for nothing because I die, the sun blows up, takes out the whole planet. A couple billion years from now, not even a single speck of my existence still hangs around. So why would I bother doing anything significant rather, because it'll all get washed away either way. But I think now the distinction, I guess, or the difference, at least for me, Ofiscus will speak for himself, um, is that you take that nothing matters. You take that yes, everything's gonna be gone, yeah, and you'd be like, yeah, everything I do, honestly speaking, okay, at least for me, it really doesn't matter whether I become president or I die of liver cirrhosis because I drink too much. It really
Is more likely.
shut up. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. The universe does not give a shit. Actually, you wouldn't even give a shit if I disappeared right now. But that in there lies the rub. You see, it's like what's the best way? I'm looking for a good analogy for this. Um, it's like the Matrix. uh, like uh, like waking up in the Matrix, but still being inside the Matrix. You get what I mean? So like it's all for nothing. But that also gives you a certain level of freedom. It kind of lifts a certain burden off your shoulder of these not this cosmic destiny that you have to live up to. It's up to you to decide what you want to do, and yes, in the end, whatever you decide you want to do will be meaningless, but it'll be meaningless with reference to the universe. It won't be meaningless with reference to you, which, in all honesty, is the only thing that matters. In the same way that the universe doesn't give a shit about you, you also shouldn't give a shit about the universe, because as far as you are concerned, you are the only person who exists. Okay, like I've had this conversation, but anyway, basically speaking, you're the only one who exists definitively. You're the only one who can provide proof of your own existence. You're the only one who you should care about in such a regard, because you're the only life that matters, basically. So as much as the universe doesn't care, that gives you the opening to care about yourself and not care about the universe's distaste for your insignificance. Yes, the universe, like or life just in general, is pretty, I guess, as Joe would put it, meaningless. And even if you accomplish something really awesome and great, it wouldn't matter, but the fact that it matters to you is what is supposed to be enough. The fact that you as an individual, yeah, whatever you did, yeah, whether you, I don't know, won a swimming competition or started nuclear winter, what does that mean? What is that noise? Accomplishing whatever you choose to accomplish. And in this case, having a healthy ego, as I said, it helps because then you aim really high, and when you get what you want, you feel even better about yourself. Even if the universe doesn't give a shit, it doesn't mean that you don't have to give a shit. Yeah, that's my 2 cents on the issue. Joe?
As for me, right, my perception is this, right? It's a similar case to when you hear a murder case across the continent and you hear a murder case right next to your neighborhood, right? They're both horrific cases, but there's one that you give more shit about than the other. The one that happens across the continent is bad, but you only perceive it as bad. You don't feel anything after it, right? The one that happens in your neighborhood, you perceive it as now a horrid case, right? You feel unsafe, you feel uncertainty. And in the same way, it's like, as I said, the world has no meaning, right? And we're the ones who end up perceiving the meaning, right? We're the ones to give whatever we do the meaning. So in that sense, right, the murder that happens next to our neighborhood for self-preservation reasons, right, becomes a more immediate threat than the one that happens cross country or cross continent. And like for me, that's how I perceive the world, right? It's a case where I need to put the effort in giving meaning to everything I do, and in that sense, right, it gives me more of a kind of drive. Because, as I said, this is all my personal opinion, but in my mindset, it's like when you have multiple lives in a game, right? Heaven will be your second life, right? When you have multiple lives in a game, right, you end up doing silly things that you wouldn't do normally because you know, oh yeah, I can respawn, right? When you're on that one mode where you know one life, that's when you know you do shit properly. Because now you perceive the danger that, there is an endpoint, there is a no return, there is a game over. And in such a sense, I feel like having no definitive answer of whether there is a point B, whether there is a respawn point called heaven or whatever you want to call it, it kind of pushes you forward that you have this one chance, right? Make it or break it. There's no really deep philosophical point for me in terms of like why. I mean, I just really don't think that the world is such a sentient being, because that would be akin to saying like Gaia and stuff like that, and I really just don't want to dwell in that part. As I said, I'm a dancer. I rather dance around the notion of having like the world give a fuck about me or God give a fuck about me, because it's really just an overcomplicated situation in modern day terms. I just don't like it. Put it that way.
Is your problem answered to satisfaction, Monty?
Yeah, that was fine. I think.
Yeah, you have anything else you wanna ask?
Nope. Unless someone has a question about heaven, and I'll just say I'll cross that bridge when I get there. At this point, I don't know. Right?
We've also hit our 2-hour mark.
I am seeing the pitchforks happening in the comment section or wherever this is posted. I'm hearing the hate speeches, the go die.
I have no idea where I'm even gonna post this.
What an opening! What an opening for us podcast.
Yeah, I know. Oh man, it's been quite.
That was impressive.
It's been quite the podcast. And to think we had nothing to talk about at the
You should be
beginning of this.
thanking me. No?
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Thank you, George, for being
We should
our.
just call it the controversy podcast, because at this point we're just going to be pissing people left, right, and center.
We still don't have a
Yeah.
name. We should get a name, or should we let our listeners decide a name for us?
That's not a bad idea, you know?
Yeah. We're basically just tossing them the issue, like you do it.
Oh yeah,
Noisy background.
What?
How about noisy background?
Noisy background.
Noisy background.
Actually, it's actually pretty good. Actually,
Yeah.
noisy background.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fitting. It's fitting.
Mm,
George, thank you for being our guest in our very first podcast.
okay. You're very welcome.
Yeah, yeah. I hope things work out between you and your man. Yeah. Um, I think we should stop for now. Yeah, we don't wanna drag this on for too long.
Yeah, and I feel like we have enough pitchforks and deaththreats from this 1 2
Yeah,
hour streak.
yeah, probably. Plus
Mhm.
I have to edit this shit. I'm gonna leave this part in this outro. But
Oh yeah. I feel like at the end of the day we might even end up deciding like the second part of this podcast will be used in podcast 2 because it's too explicit.
maybe. Who knows? If we don't get absolutely cancelled for posting this one, we'll be back for
Mhm.
for the second episode of Noisy Background. Uh, and we'll have a new guest speaker, I guess, and we'll speak about something else.
Yeah.
Maybe you
Hopefully
can,
not as controversial as our previous
maybe
today's
yes,
topic.
we can speak about something a little less controversial than religion. For the whole last hour, I think it was
Yeah.
just religion. Oh man,
Yeah.
how about we will talk about cake? We should, Joel, we should get a cake expert on. Lighten
Yeah.
up the place. We'll
Or what?
who knows how to cook? Who knows how to cook? Kibe knows how to cook.
Kibe. Yeah. We both had the same point.
I know how to bake cake.
You know how to bake cakes. Well then, I guess we just have to wait and see who gets the mystery invite for episode 2. But anyway, thank you guys for coming and hanging out and letting us be your quote unquote noisy background. This was actually pretty good. I did not expect I did not expect us
This
to
much
actually
of a
have.
turnout.
I did not actually expect us to have an audience, but it's good. It's good. We don't really have a plan on when episodes are gonna be, being recorded or being streamed or anything.
Yeah.
It's just whenever me, Joel, and our guest is free. So it could be any time. I'll try and give you updates on the server news channel as far ahead in time as I can, so that it doesn't just seem impromptu. Yeah. Otherwise,
But we assure you that most of our podcasts will be impromptu, even though it says otherwise.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
That's
And
good.
we won't. I don't think we'll burn as many bridges as we have today. I don't think there are many bridges
Yeah.
left after today. But
The only goodness is we know that Fellow listeners, you know that politics is not our game, so we won't burn that bridge because none of us like it in the first place.
Yeah. We won't touch politics, and we're not American, so you don't have to worry about us telling you to vote. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you have an interesting, exciting evening, night. I don't know, whatever time it is over there. Some of us are on
Oh yeah, we're
different.
so unprofessional.
Some of us are in different time zones. Of course, it's unprofessional. Who do you think I am, man? I'm some posh, sleek ass motherfucker. You know, I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy recording. This is the lengthiest, most unprofessional outro of all time. And if you continue, you will stay like that. I am not changing a single thing. Thank you for listening.